Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to People Bring Profits. It's a topic today that, I think all three of us can say we're real passionate about today, and it's our mindset of into the storm. I mean, it's kind of part of our name of our podcast. So if it's your first time to join us, guys, I'm CEO of Aspire to Be Hospitality Group, Chris Olexa, and I'm joined by my wife, Kimberly Olexa. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Thank you for asking.
All right. And our COO, Justin Smith over here.
Yes, sir. Ready to charge.
And hey, I'm glad you kind of brought that up right there and just jump right in, because that's what we do. And I think it's a mindset that we started a while back, and it's something that I think it's important to any company. And as you build yours out, I think you got to really think of these words, these phrases, culture setting, because I think when you explain it to people, instead of just trying to, tell them about it, but you attach words with meaning to it. And I think that's what Into the Storm with. And then you have a story. Right. And the story of this is, and I don't know if you're out there, if you've ever studied the bison, the buffalo, I don't know which one, I call it the buffalo. But every time I see it's like the bison, I don't know if it's different parts of the country call it differently.
I don't know that there's actually buffalo in America, but everybody calls it a buffalo.
Yes,
But
that's something.
especially down here in Texas.
Yeah, I'm gonna study that, because I don't know. But okay, to the point, to the topic of today's podcast. It's Into the Storm. It's a mentality thing that we have, and a wild buffalo, when they're in the herd or in the wild, and they sense a storm coming over. And this is a true story. If you read it all over the internet, it's all over. And that's why I fell in love with it years back, because it's something I found that I attached myself to as I was growing to be a better leader and to be a business owner as we grew our company. So what it is, the storm comes over the horizon, over the mountaintops, and buffalo gather in the herd. They get their herd together, and they basically charge the storm. Other wildlife, cattle, run away from the storm. And so you can imagine the storm coming, and the herd runs through it. It gets through the storm quicker. Others run away, so they're in the storm longer. So they're uncomfortable longer. They're dealing with, and that's the mentality. Let's take that away just from the buffalo now. Let's take it to personal. Being diagnosed with something, an illness, or having a tragedy to your family, or just having something happen bad, bad test grade, I don't know, in college. I didn't have many of those. So that's the mindset of this. So then you get through it quicker. If you sit there and, have anguish over it, just worry about it, it's going to be more of a problem. So same thing in business. And that's what we do. I think that's what we do, guys, and we challenge our teams. So when we see a toughness coming or something coming in our business, we challenge our team into the storm. And it's funny when we say that, they get excited.
Yeah. And for me, the words that we come up with within our company, Into the Storm, it's just a building block. It's a phrase for us to build on and to focus on throughout every aspect of our business, no matter what it is, whether it's here in the support office, out there in the operational field, with your visionaries, what you bring to the company. It's just something for us to always focus on, Into the Storm.
Yeah.
And that's why I really appreciate that we as a company have those focus words.
Yeah. And go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, when you're putting together a playbook and you're rolling into the storm, people want to have comfort that you're calling the right plays, and they want to follow the leader, right? They want to follow the buffalo that's leading that charge into the storm. So I think the mindset of rolling into the storm is something that you're going all in, you're facing it up front, you're plowing ahead, but that still doesn't mean you don't have a good playbook and your leaders are calling the plays to guide them as quickly as possible through that storm. And we do that with something we like to call like a herd mentality.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Yeah, so my one-liners, Kim, in Little League, and they always talk, what do you call them?
Criticisms. Yeah.
So Justin, you comes up to me in the hallways. Where did you come up with this? And it's funny to do it, but the herd mentality is when we herd up our group, right? But my mindset is also too how the herd works. Is the big, strong, powerful, the more mature buffalo managers, employees, leaders get on the outside. You put the sick, the small, the young, the elderly in the middle. So they protect it from the outsides a little bit more. And we've had that conversation like where we had, a manager go down and ill or not healthy. And, like, hey guys, hurry up. Right. And I remember we had Patrick was in our office. I said, Patrick, you got to take the weak and then put him in the middle, the sick. And he's like, oh. Wow, I get it. Yeah. And that's the thing too that when you hit on it and Justin's hitting on the playbooks and stuff, because it's easy for us. And when you're out there in the field, guys, you're entrepreneurs, business leaders, you got to come up with phrases and little trinkets, right? That you can just drop on them. And because instead of me saying, when I could say, hey guys, into the storm, let's herd it up. I just conquered instead of me going 10 minutes and, going to say, Patrick, come here, let me talk to you. Let me explain to you what we need to do. I think they understand what we're talking about. Okay, this is tough times, right? And we got to head into the storm. So I think these words that you can put together, and it creates that culture, because now, the shirt you're wearing today is one of the most popular shirts we sell. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And because people are asking, they ask us, what does that mean? I was in a shoe store a while back. I said, hey, what does that mean? And it opens that door up and it says, hey, whatever you face in life, it's into the storm. And you tell them the story of Buffalo, and it's like, especially somebody young, they're like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, take on your stuff. So, and you say about playbooks, like, how we do that. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, and you come up with ways to rally around that, right? So I'm a leader Buffalo, and I'm going to say, instead of doing a traction call that we called it with our folks every single Friday, we're going to start calling that a herd update. Yeah. You wouldn't just send a bunch of Buffalo into the storm and say, okay, go. Yeah. No, you'd corral them along the way and have your big, strong Buffalo or your leaders around them calling the plays and giving them comfort and giving them confidence and letting them know what the outliers are and the things that they need to work on every single week. So they're getting through it. They're getting through it fast, efficient, and they're just gaining confidence as they go. So they come out of it and they're ready for that next challenge. So we call them herd updates, but I think that the nugget is, make things synonymous with what your main objective. We're going into the storm, so we're going to run a herd update, and just everything we talk about corrals around that one message. Yeah. I think that's really important, and people would much rather rally around an into the storm shirt and being a part of a herd update than getting on a corporate traction call and spitting out numbers. And that's resulted into, numbers important and responsibilities important, but we're talking a lot of, just other topics too that, I think the soft skills are things that are super, super important, and we're talking, about them as well. And I think that all leads into this major word of accountability, and that's where Kim's strength is, and that's what she does for us, right? You had the vision, I'm helping create the playbook, and I'm doing the herd updates, and I'm leading the charge into the storm, but I need to be accountable that the herd is actually executing and someone's not strolling off into the wilderness. And you play an amazing role in
just wandering off. Okay, it's true.
That's why we got to corral the herd and make sure they're following the system and they're following the playbook.
And we do have some that wander off. Yeah. And I think that's where the accountability comes in at this.
Yes. And, for me, to just focus on into the storm as he's doing the playbooks, and then you have the people out there that are trying to follow the playbooks. Maybe they don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're getting overwhelmed by the systems that we put in place. So we're holding them accountable, of course, but then we're also refocusing them to say, hey, we got you. Yeah. We can say that little word into the storm, and their face lights up. They connect with us in a way that we could have never connected with them before, because they're in their mind, they've already made up their mind. This is just another process they're laying on. This system is not going to be effective, and they're going to hold me accountable. Yeah. But yet, if we can just say, hey, into the storm, we've got this, their face lights up. They buy into what we're trying to sell them as layering on these systems after systems and holding them accountable to these systems and giving them that encouragement. Yeah. I think so. Just that terminology in itself brings so much to our company. And it can to others. Yeah.
So when you hear that accountability in the herd updates, where do y'all get like your like, ooh, like your ears pop up, like I gotta wander. I'm missing one. Where do you get that at? Where do you pick up on that at?
Yeah, you can immediately pick up on it.
During their calls?
During their calls. They're either stumbling or they don't know the information. And we always go to this place where they may have not of me. And I always go to this place of maybe they don't understand exactly what we're asking them to do.
Yeah.
And so then I always revert back to train and redevelop, because sometimes that's just all people need is a little bit of retraining and redeveloping in a certain accountable system that we're asking them to do.
I see that, Justin, when you're out in the field and you're talking to your leaders, our business coaches out there. I mean, are you able to pick up on one that you like, use the word wandering? Are you able to pick up on their calls, on their emails, or just the performance? When do you see those?
Yeah, you're always as good as prepared as you are. So, if we're going to approach a herd update and say that we're going to, make that be a keynote speech every week and not just another call, I think that cascades down all the way to the store. So we do herd updates on Fridays, but then they're doing their own updates on Mondays, and they're cascading the information down. So is that a reflection of what was learned and taught and coached on Friday on Monday, or is it their own version and they're wandering off and into the dark cloud? And there's a calibration there. And then I think it's spending time with your people, locking arms, being there. And Into the Storm truly means you are locking elbows with them, and you're in the trenches and you're in the store and you're making observations and you're saying, hey, I would look at it like this based on my experience. You didn't see this thing in this and this and that. And let's talk about how we're going to address it as a leader. And let's talk about how we're going to cascade that down and find the root cause and make a good change. So, yes, it definitely comes out on our calls, who is prepared and who is not prepared. It definitely, resonates into the stores, but it's a combination of calibrating through what you might want to call a herd update, which is great, right? Connect the support office or your corporate office to operations in the field, but then you also got to get in there and I'm going to take a page out of Kim's book and prove it.
Yeah.
And how do we prove it? I mean, that's super important. You can prove it by being there, but then you can also be really savvy through technology in other ways.
Yeah. What's cool too is, to me, in the whole mindset of this, it means more than just a business, because it is business, but it is personal too. So, for example, we have a location that's struggling right now. We lost our GM, and we're having trouble staffing it, which a lot of people are still, but this particular store, because of the leadership there. So we sent some people down there. Yeah. And when I flew down there and we went down there, I delivered Into the Storm shirts, and hey, this is a storm. Yeah. This is what we're talking about, and guess what? We're gonna fix this. And there's going to be blue skies, but guess what? Another storm's going to come. So, we always got to be prepared. But then also too, it's personal. Mm-hmm. So when one of our guys in the herd go down, we've had some that had COVID, in the past. One that was, really bad off, and we surrounded that person, and I think mentally tried to take care of them, financially tried to take care of them as a company. We've had people in our office go down. It's Into the Storm mentality, right? We herd up, we protect the weak, and try to take care of them. So I think there's a lot of mindsets with that. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, I see that for sure. And again, we use Into the Storm with our company, but there's so many more keywords out there that companies can use, and just to collaborate, refocus themselves for their team so that they can recharge themselves and go out and really make a difference. Yeah. Just by saying Into the Storm. And it doesn't have to be Into the Storm. It's Into the Storm for us. We understand that. We're branded on that. But it may be something else for somebody else's company, but just a way to reconfigure your team and face the challenges and know that, hey, there's always tomorrow.
That's right.
Today we may have blown it. We may have blown our lunch rush.
Yeah.
But we're going to have dinner. So let's gear up and let's be prepared.
Yeah. And that's important too, this. I mean, Into the Storm is our thing. I mean, go and use it. I mean, go read the story. We didn't. It's not ours. Yeah. I mean, we didn't trademark that name.
No.
But we definitely grabbed it because it was something that.
So cool.
And I think it's something too that you're going to see in the future, guys, in our bios that it's why it's branded into me so much.
Yeah.
And I think also too, and somewhat Justin too, but because it's a physical mindset too of when you've had tragedy in your life or you've had disappointments or whatever it is, health. You could sit here and cry about it.
Oh yeah.
You could sit here and just lay on the floor, and nothing's going to change. Mm-hmm. Only thing's going to change is you. you have to change what your future is and how that comes out in the way you view things,
You have to be the buffalo.
You got to be the buffalo, So I think it's important, and I think it's important for any company out there too, the guys. If you could go out and find something that's in your DNA, right, that you can personally attach yourself to, and when you and believe in, when you're selling it to your people, and have a story a little bit behind it, find something that I was gonna. This is coming to my mind a lot lately on my post and things that words really just have a meaning when you say a word. But if it has a purpose and it's your purpose, it takes on a whole different life.
Sure.
So I think if you can find something like that, it's important to you to do that because you can easily say that word and sell your team on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was easy for us. It was a terminology that we could use that helped us in our industry, the hospitality industry, and it was a great fit. Into the storm.
I love it. And you go to a lot of our social pages, and not just ours, right? Our teams. I see a lot of the guys are posting, and they'll put hashtag into the storm or herd mentality, circling the herd together. I got my herd. I think there was one the other day. We had a big thing at one of our stores in Lake Charles. I guess we had a famous rapper show up, and it's funny because it was one of our business coaches' 1-year anniversary, and he's friends with this rapper, and they brought and did Monday Night Football, and it was a blowout. It was crazy, red carpet and all. But he sent a ride to pick up a bunch of our managers from other stores to bring them there, and it was like we got our herd together, and it's so they take that and they believe it, man. It's something special.
Great to see.
To kind of wrap it up, I want to be able to sell this right to people how important it is because and tell a story, Justin. I think we all can dive in this really quickly. One of the biggest storms that we faced as a company. Y'all know what I'm about to say, right?
It's one word, right?
and it's not the coronavirus, right? Yeah. Corona will they won't deliver. They won't deliver. So when we found out COVID came, that's the biggest storm anybody in the hospitality business or any business that right now still would face. Yeah, let's hope we never do that again. But I remember that day that me and you found out that our restaurants are being closed, within that, and we had friends look at us and we were actually out eating dinner. And they were like, "Oh, what are you going to do?" We're like, "Well, we're going to herd up and go into the storm." Like, you're not worried? Yeah, we're worried, but we can't show that.
That was never shown. We got in this room, and almost right after we heard, you rallied the troops, and we led into the storm, and we put the playbooks out on the table, a playbook that's never been made, that nobody's ever written, and started writing pages, led with our people drive our profits. And from the beginning, it was so people focused, and how are we going to make sure people keep their jobs and keep their pay and can provide for their families in an industry that was getting hammered. But what was that playbook? And the quick story is revolutionized curbside takeout. Started using the word obnoxious and putting people in hard hats and making people feel so comfortable to come into our restaurant that nothing could ever happen to them because they deserved it. And that's how we approach business. And as a result of that, and the nugget is, if you can get in there in hard times and create a playbook and rally around the right thing and lead through your morals, and ours is our people drive our profits, you're going to be on the receiving end of your customers having an awesome, safe experience. Be more profitable, and sometimes get recognized for it. And, our company through COVID, our small company got recognized nationally for the Founders Award of Buffalo Wild Wings, which is just we didn't go into making that playbook by any means because we wanted to win an award, right? There's no award for a playbook that's never been made, but we were unafraid to drive into the storm and write a playbook led by our people, and that paid off.
I think that's how we, when that happened, we came in this conference room, and I remember this, everybody was nervous, thinking, oh, what's going to happen this storm? It's here. But we just, with the confidence in our face, said, hey, we're going to face this in a storm. Have you ever seen I remember using these words. Have you ever seen Apollo 13 when they threw the maps on the table and said, we're going to figure this crap out?
They put the square through the round hole, right? The square peg.
And as leaders of your company, you got to show that you're fearless. Now, behind the closed door, you're like, oh man, what are you gonna do? But those days when I remember that, and that was the best, story that we could tell, because I remember we said as a company, Justin, ops, takeout, obnoxious takeout. I mean, I remember saying, "Hey, I want some," a staff member with an orange hat on, orange saying, shoot, with sanitizer. And
We did that.
yeah,
No,
we did it. We did it. And we went to our managers and said, "Hey, it's okay. We're at this time, we're not going to lay anybody off. Let's just own takeout. Let's be the best takeout." I remember going to.
We changed our whole restaurants. The whole layouts of them were
We
changed.
did. We made sections for takeout, and then Mello was in all our stores. Be crazy on social. We gave everybody a duty, and Kim, your duty was financially.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Protect this baby.
yes. Sit behind a desk for hours on end and PPP applications after applications after applications. Yes.
Well, and there was sanitation elements too. So we had a visionary, we had a plan, we rolled out that plan, but just like any other plan, after a couple weeks, a month, it starts getting pulled back a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's where Kim's saying, "Hey, I don't know that we're wiping every 30 minutes." And, and those three pieces, you're just rinsing and repeating, right? It's visionary, plan, hey, prove it.
Yeah. And that's what we did. We all heard up. I think everybody, you led this, hey guys, the storm's this way. We got to alter this way, right? It's a little less, slippery this way. Yeah. And Justin's back there, "Come on guys, we're going this way now." So, and I want to say it was bad for a lot of people, but for our company, I think it was one of the coolest things that happened to us because we were able to really change who we were as a company and pivot, like you say, when we needed, and show that we could do it.
Yeah.
And we actually grew during the storm.
Right.
We grew we were opening stores during the storm. Because, I've always said, let's be a bull. That's the time. And to all you young guys out there or guys running your company, that sometimes when it's raining, it's the most funnest time to play outside.
That's right.
That's when you get in the ditch and mom don't care. Yeah. Right. And so, and sometimes
we didn't feel like that at the time.
We didn't, but we do now.
Time.
Because we stayed focused into our plan, into the storm. We kept using it. Our managers felt safe. Everybody was at work. So
no matter what, though, you're following the leader. So we did. Yes. We had tough conversations behind closed doors, but we always made the commitment we're going to walk out of there and be united.
Yeah.
And that mattered more than anything because it gave our team the confidence that they were getting coached properly, and they had the will to move on for us because we were united, and there was no disconnect whatsoever. But no, it was tough behind closed doors. There were some very, very hard decisions that we often took the high road or the nice route and the human route. And we didn't pass anything to our guests. We took care of our employees, and that was 3 years of some loss on the P&L because of that, but boy, we're going to earn that back because of the way we approached it.
Yeah, that was our prove it model into the storm. Yeah. That was our prove it that we could do it, that we could actually get through one of the biggest storms our company has faced, and we were able to do that.
Yeah, we wore a lot of hats during it too.
Yeah, we did.
Don't be twisted. Everybody was wearing every hat in here, and we all played to our strengths. But if you're not going to go support your neighbor, and when someone's falling behind, all rally behind, even if it's not your strength. Go help the weak, even if it's not something you're comfortable with, because sometimes they just need a pat on the back or a pat on the butt if you're a Buffalo, and get right back up there.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that going on too.
Yeah. Man, again, great topic, who we are. And, as these episodes go on, we'll probably dig a little bit more into this COVID thing, because it was something that I think really, what you did with the company of leading that financial charge, what we did on the operations side was just, I want to say, I don't think it could be ever executed like we did it again, because it was, flawless, really. Did some great things. So, thank you guys. Sharing these things that we can share as much as possible. And we hope that you can take something from this, guys, that when you're listening to these podcasts, we're just trying to tell a story, right? We're trying to tell you how we did it. And hopefully you can implement some of this into your growth of how you're growing and get better at it, because we've made a lot of mistakes, but again, I feel like we've made a lot of great calls and pivots when we needed to. So it's important to us to sell that to you, because we really want to help. I think, as we grow, we got to be servants to our people. And we got to be good stewards to our people and share this stuff. So again, hey, if you like this, man, please subscribe to it. Make comments out there too that you would like to listen to more, or us to dive into more of a topic. We are an open book, guys. We want to share this. I mean, we're not selling you a book. That's not our plan here. We are an open book, and we want to share anything we can, as deep as we can with you. So again, thank you guys. Appreciate the time. Thank you, Kim and Justin, for sitting in here today. We've been busy lately, so to get in here, it's actually kind of fun to get in here too. Get out of the normal life in the office and close that door and have fun in here. But I enjoyed it. Again, thank you guys.
All right.